it was mostly older people who didn't get that they like if they post something, people could see their names, like sometimes you
Yeah.
see the weirdest comments from people and they share their whole life on Facebook. You could literally see where they live and they post like whatever sexist, racist stuff just on the internet and it stays there. Like their wives see this, and they just
Yeah.
didn't realize that.
Martians landed?
Yes.
Wearing Prada suits?
Yes.
Drinking Henry Seltzer?
Yes.
Chewing juicy fruit?
Yes, and?
Your branding here?
Yes, brand.
Your message here?
Yes, and?
A verse about?
Yes.
Your product here?
Yes.
I'm Hirsch Redman.
Yes, and?
I'm a message therapist.
Yes.
And I have a podcast.
Yes, brand.
That's right, that's it.
Yes.
We'll help you fix the world.
Yes.
Or your bottom line.
All right.
Your bottom line.
Get it. I get it. Welcome to the Yes Brand Podcast.
Who do I have in the hot seat today on Yes Brand? My friend Marcel Becker. Marcel was kind of half joking before we started that he is me at 25 years old, but without the comedy, without the stand-up comedy background, but not
Right.
really without the sense of humor. And in fact, he is much more adept with social media, which comes as no surprise, is a consultant and has helped people optimize their LinkedIn presence and online strategies. And he also is a very talented copywriter. And so storytelling is a very big part of what he is doing. So welcome, Marcel, to the Yes Brand podcast.
Thank you very much for the introduction. Hi. Yes, I'm happy to be here. And yeah, right. I told him that I was like about the humor thing. Like I told him that like I'm from Germany, but every time people say that Germans don't have humor, I always say that like I'm also half Polish, so I actually can laugh and make jokes sometimes. But
You
yeah,
can make jokes that you yourself don't find funny.
exactly.
That's
I can make
that's
jokes to make other people laugh,
to
but
make other
I
people laugh,
myself.
but you don't get it.
Exactly. I'm a stoic myself, so
Well, let's talk about image and brand building, particularly on a platform like LinkedIn.
exactly.
From your point of view, because I don't know how long LinkedIn has been around, but I could say, oh, I've been on LinkedIn for 25 years. I don't know how long it's actually been around. I've really only been using it intently for maybe 5 years. But before that, I paid very little attention to it. But tell me about what has gotten your attention and what attracts you to the platform.
Yeah, sure. Like I couldn't point my finger on how long LinkedIn is around exactly. I think something between 12 and 18 years. I have those two numbers in my head, but in the end, it's like a lot more about branding and just showing yourself than people actually notice right now. At least I feel like on the European side, like I worked with some companies from different countries from Europe, with Portuguese companies from Spain, Switzerland, Austria, German, of course. And most of them like see LinkedIn as like a platform to just sell stuff or just, they think LinkedIn is like a business Facebook or something. And it is kinda, but if you think about how or what LinkedIn was supposed to do in the beginning, like as a job finding platform, it was much more personal because people actually connected with people that they know, like me and also you. Like we have a big network, like over you have like I don't know, I think over 10,000 right now, right? Even more. I'm around 5,000 right now. But like of course we don't know all of these people. It's just like to connect and to like know what people you could text inside your network then if you need something. But you asked me about what drew my attention there. It was when I started my self-employment 4 years ago, 4.5 years ago now. So you've been actually longer on the platform than I was,
Yeah.
because I started LinkedIn 4 years ago, but it changed even like a lot, very, very much since then. Like I started because like Facebook and Instagram just weren't for me. Like I started a media company with my best friend, and we wanted to have like customers from the real estate group. It was before COVID and everything, and we just saw that the real estate sector in Germany needed kind of the most digital help because nothing was digitalized there. And so we started looking for customers, or I started looking for customers for us. And LinkedIn was just the most, like the best platform for that. It was the most professional. People were nice to each other on a business level, but like nicer than on Facebook when you're just like, I don't know, some people threatened me or whatever just randomly. So I thought, yeah, well, let's not stay here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I kept to LinkedIn, and I'm
Well,
still there.
Well, actually, you make an interesting point about Facebook, which is if you think back, 4 or 5 years ago, and or even 8 years ago, people were
Yes,
very high strung, very intensely emotional on Facebook. And I understand, people are connected, and so when there's stuff that's going on that people are anxious about, it comes through in their very
yes.
personal, very emotional places. Now on LinkedIn, it also has taken on,
It
starting
starts
to
to.
be, a little more. There are people on there, I think, because, and I might have mentioned this to you the first time that we met, that it might be because a lot of people that are on LinkedIn who got on it for business are some of them are even retiring, or they're not necessarily old, but I have friends who are in their 50s and they're retired. So LinkedIn is
Yes.
like their Facebook. It's their community of business associates, colleagues, and friends, and they're not really on Facebook. And then when something emotional comes up, they share it on
Yeah.
LinkedIn, and that can
It's
be
also,
tricky.
yeah, very, because like it's also because like they have a platform there, like in Facebook it started because they could just put out their word, and I don't know why, but like it was mostly older people who didn't get that they like if they post something, people could see their names, like sometimes you
Yeah,
see the weirdest comments from people, and they share their whole life on Facebook. You could literally see where they live, and they post like whatever sexist, racist stuff just on the internet, and it stays there. Like their wives see this, and they just
yeah,
didn't realize that they, yeah, like stuff like that. And I think people, like what you said, I think people on LinkedIn think they're a little bit safer because it's in a more business environment. So they always try to post something, post their opinion, but with a business angle. And so it's like I think it's easier for them to hide there a little bit. So that's why they started posting there. But it's also much easier to just block them on LinkedIn. Like if you don't, like that's a very positive fact. On Facebook, if you just doom scroll, you will see like stuff from all kinds of people, even people that you're not friends with. But on LinkedIn, if you like, you can also follow people. Like when you connect to somebody, you automatically follow them. But you can also stay connected to them, but unfollow them. So it's like a better situation. Just if you don't want to see post, then just unfollow them and problem solved. On Facebook, it's not that easy because
yeah. Well, tell me this from your point of view. What are the things that you are looking for in a very good, professional, appealing, and memorable LinkedIn profile?
yeah, sure. Like, of course, it's always about the posts. Like, people underestimate that. Like, a lot of people like have nice profiles, or they make their profiles very nice, and their head banner and everything, of course, should be kind of professional too. The picture should be professional, but they forget about the like that everything is open. Like people can see all of their activities. Like if you liked something, if you can't dislike, but if you commented something, if you posted something, if you reposted something, all of these things are, yeah, open to the world if you don't shut that down on your own LinkedIn. So you should always keep track of what you post, what you repost, and of course keep kind of, yeah, like we said in the beginning, like keep your brand openly visible. So use the same colors, use the same fonts, like get a kind of a straight line in your content strategy. And if you really like, it depends, of course, what the profile wants to, or where the profile wants to get. If you just want to have more visibility, if you want to grow your network, then you can just like do that yourself, like organic. You can go on LinkedIn and like search for people and just connect with those people. You have like a limit weekly, but I mean the limit is around 300, so it's still a lot of people that you can ask to connect every week, that will like, and from these people, like they will connect with you. Not all of them, of course, but a lot. And also a lot of people like look for the info text, because you have the possibility to write a small info text in your profile. And if you really want to catch people, then this is the one that like lets them stay on your profile.
Yeah, this is a good topic, which is, you mentioned consistency of the colors and the format, and in your featured section, we had talked about this. But what about the trends that seem to occur in the style of posting? In other words, you start to see posts that almost seem to mirror all the other posts that and
Yes,
I understand why they're
it's such
doing
a
these,
problem.
but short, like let's say there's short sentences so that people keep scrolling, so that they're not reading blocks of text. That makes sense. But you look at
Yes.
somebody's post and it looks like just a very long post broken up into very small paragraphs. So what are some tips for effective posting so that people stop and pay attention?
Yeah, like there, it's of course also about, not just about the colors and everything. That was mostly like for the profile, like that the profile looks good with the
Right.
post that you see. If you post yourself, and if we're talking about like when people are scrolling on LinkedIn and you want them to stop at your post and actually read it, you should put your face on it at least sometimes, like, because faces, or just like personas interact much better with you and your content if you get it more personal. Like I made it for myself, like one week this, then the next week this. So it's like one week I'm show my face. I mean, I put in a picture of mine, and I tell a personal story. I tell stories from my personal life and what I learned from that. And also just be like, yeah, transparent. Like also talk about your failures, right? Like because in the end we all just learn from failures. So that's where you learn the most. And people who like know that and who look for that, they will stay. And you said something very good about the texts just broken up into small paragraphs. I would actually try to, like, I don't know, we did that in school when I
Yeah,
was
yeah,
much younger, even younger. Like when you have a text and you should mark stuff that you think is important. Do you remember that? Like, I don't
yeah.
know, or like maybe
Highlighting.
from your kids, exactly, highlight it.
Yeah,
And do it kind of with your own text. If you wrote a long text and you're very proud of it and everything, or even if you texted ChatGPT or asked ChatGPT like, yo, could you please write me a text about this and that for LinkedIn, it will, but they're mostly very long. So do the same thing, highlight. And if you think it's enough, highlight a little bit more, because in the end, I think 10 to 15, sometimes 20, if the topic is really important for you, or you think it's very important for your target audience, what's much more important than maybe 20. But just put 20 sentences and always put like a space in between, so that
yeah,
it doesn't appear as a full text, but like sentence, space, sentence, space, sentence, space. So in the end, they will have to read just really small
yeah.
bits of
That
that,
makes
because the
sense. That
attention span is just not
Yeah,
there anymore.
yeah. The small chunks makes perfect sense. It's
Yeah.
but it's a question of how much stuff like you just said, edit, highlight what needs to stay in and get rid of everything else. Then highlight another round, edit, spend
Yes,
more time editing. And that makes perfect
exactly.
sense. We should all do that in our communications, in our emails, in our posts, and in our videos. Clarity, I think, is a big challenge for a lot of people. That's what I work with people on a lot in my clientele is clarity
Hmm.
around what they want to say and why. Why are we making this video? Why are we posting this thing?
Yes,
I've been guilty of it myself where I would be, just
sure.
walking around the streets and just wanting to have an idea and just record some video. But now I give it to my assistant and I have her do basically on video the same highlighting idea. Get rid of anything that's not interesting. Just cut it up. Cut it
Yeah,
up. It's okay. People don't mind anymore that videos are
yeah,
cut because
no.
they know that we're cutting out
They
the
even
stuff that
like
they
it
don't
much
need.
more. Yeah,
Yeah.
they like it much more. Like even in a podcast episode like this, like it probably will get cut, right? Like it's or like all podcasts I know they like, get cut, of course. Like
Yeah.
always, it's like every type of video, every type of content needs to get cut because in the end, it's much more about what's really important and like just like you said, like just because you have an idea of oh that could be funny, like it doesn't mean that like all of your like all people in your audience think that is necessary for them or important for them too, you know. So you should always keep it, especially on LinkedIn, you should always keep it professional. And yeah, like I said, also on a personal level.
Now
That's
you
in the end
mentioned,
just it.
sorry, now
Videos, small videos are very
yeah,
nice too, by the way.
yeah. And you mentioned that, we have all these people that are following us on LinkedIn and it grows hopefully, and it can be on any platform,
Hopefully.
but certainly on LinkedIn, there's a chance that you know them a little bit better versus let's say X or, and even Instagram.
Yeah.
That's a whole other animal. Instagram is like
Yes.
I found it to be very superficial and very demonstrative. Like I want to show, and that's not a bad thing. Like for example, if you have some important statement to make and you make a post on LinkedIn and it's very sharp, clear, and pointed, it may actually affect people more than a post on LinkedIn. But the
Yes.
depth generally of your brand, of your story, of it's just not there. That's why you and I probably found similarly that, Instagram was not our medium. But as
Yes.
far as your objective for what you would like to be doing with your skills, with your skill set, do you look ahead and look at both technology and what's happening with platforms and also what you would like to be doing with your talent?
Of course, like you just said, like Instagram was or like Facebook were not the platforms for me in terms of self-employment in the business sector. But I use Instagram like as a writer, kind of like you said in the beginning in the introduction that I'm talented, even like a big thank you for that, by the way, a copywriter. But like I also write just like this, like fiction and poems and everything. And I used or use Instagram to post some poems there from time to time. And so, you know, it's like it always depends on what platform do you use for what audience do you want to reach. And like you said, it's like it's very different. But of course, you always have to like of course like even more right now with AI and everything around that, like how fast this market is growing. You know, there's already AIs mixed with other AIs to or like AIs mixed with other softwares to yeah just make your whole work process easier. And I think right now there's a huge market also. Like a lot of people say that writing will die because of ChatGPT and everything. I don't actually think so. It's more like it's help, you know, it's helping. But and of course I myself use that sometimes. Not of course not to write a whole article or a post or anything, but like to write like a small summary about a topic that I can write from, you know, just to give me a basis for something,
Yeah.
especially when I had like a client with a topic that I don't really know much about. Like, let's say, for example, investment strategies or anything, you know, or like whatever. And like, of course, I watched some YouTube videos just to get into the topic a little bit to understand the base. But then also, of course, I let ChatGPT write something. Then I like go back and reflect that, you know. I talk to experts to check that and everything before I post that. So it's a lot of work in the background still. And yeah, I don't actually think that these things will ever like
It's never going to
get the position that
replace.
humans have in the
Yeah.
yeah.
It's not designed to do that. I think that you and I both as writers enjoy the fact that we can save time both learning
Yes,
and organizing. A first draft is really nothing more than an organization of ideas. So if you have
exactly.
help
Yes.
organizing it, all of a sudden it's not a blank page, it's a springboard for imagination.
Exactly. And yeah, of course, you also have to know how to write it. You know, like you can't just write me an article about this. Like then it will be just like a weird big ball of information, but there's no structure in it. So you have to know how to ask ChatGPT or other AIs, no advertisement at this point, to like, yeah, like how you want your article or how you want your summary to be written, you know. That's
Now,
it's
oh,
like
go ahead.
it's not that easy. People
Yeah,
like, I don't know. I remember the first time when like a friend of mine told me that he got ChatGPT or like other AIs too for like his university projects and everything, and I was like, what? Aren't you like isn't that like getting like, do you even have to work? And he was like, yeah, it's not like it's like helping me. It's just helping me, you know. It's not, yeah, getting rid of all my workload. So
yeah. So now in closing, what I normally do is if I have someone on who's older and more experienced, I'll ask them, what would they say to their younger self?
oh, you can ask me the same question.
What advice would you give your younger self? Yeah. So now looking at at a younger self, a small child or a teenager, but what advice about business would you give that younger self looking at your professional life so far?
Well, I actually think it's like I'm still very young, like you said, of course, but in the end, I actually think about that a lot. Like, would my younger self be proud of me and everything? And I would just tell him to keep going, actually. I think that's a little bit cheesy, maybe, but in the end, it is that. Like, just keep going, keep your faith in yourself, like keep believing in yourself because it will work out. And I'm just 25. I haven't worked out anything yet, I know, but I'm happy with the situation I am in right now. And I did a lot of different stuff. Like I write, I was self-employed for over 4 years. I did that. I did a European tour with this job, like working remote from hostel to hostel, from camping place to camping place. And it was in the end all worth it. So I would just say keep going, keep doing what you do, and you will always know deep down somewhere, you know the answer to your biggest problems. So if you maybe don't see the light sometimes, just close your eyes and you will find the answer in yourself.
Alright.
If you liked the show,
Yes, and?
it worked for you,
Yes, then?
subscribe and leave a
Yes, friend.
5-star review.
Yes, friend.
Tell all your friends.
Yes, friend.
Get your branding here.
Yes, friend.
Get your branding here.
Yes, friend.
Did I make it clear?
Yes, friend.
Get your branding on.
Yes.